Hey guys, what's going on? Minuteman Preparedness here. It's a dangerous world. So today we're going to jump into the topic of soft armor. There's several different types. I have a couple different variants here with me, but we're going to jump into why you need this, what it'll do for you, and why you just need to have it. And that'll be coming up next on Minuteman Preparedness. All right. Welcome back to Minuteman Preparedness. So we're going to be jumping into soft armor today. Just soft armor, no hard armor, just handgun rated items today. No rifle rated, no hard plates, no anything like that. So several things you need to know about body armor is one, you'll see expensive armor, and on the back of it and in the literature, it'll have a stamp of approval on it from NIJ. NIJ is the National Institute of Justice. They are the group that sets up the testing and certifies body armor. Now you'll find less expensive body armor that does not have the NIJ stamp on the back of it, and therefore it has not been tested by the NIJ. So it doesn't have their stamp. Now there are companies, a lot of companies that have less expensive body armor that is third party tested. Now, there are some companies that I utilize this body armor, and there are some that I don't just because there's not enough literature on it and not enough videos online of people testing it and putting it through the rounds. Now, there's one company in particular I utilize. They do make NIJ certified body armor, and I have some of that. And they also make non-NIJ certified body armor, which has been third party tested. You're really paying for the stamp and the test saying that, yes, this is good to go. Now, I personally, this is me. You do your own research on this. I do utilize some of the non-NIJ certified stuff due to the fact that I have so many different kits and setups, things for all my different vehicles, home, travel, all these different things. I'm like a lot of you all. I don't have a lot of money. I've had to work hard for what I have. So I just can't go out and spend, $800 on a plate, $1,000 on two plates or whatever, when I could get the non-certified stuff that's third party tested. And I've read the literature, read up on the companies, and watched a plethora of videos online about it. And I felt safe about it. So I've went that route on a lot of my armor, but I do have NIJ certified stuff. So in my research, I didn't know this. Now, I did know this part, that the NIJ, their old standard of testing, which I thought was still the current standard, is 101.06. Well, apparently in April 2014, the NIJ changed their standards over to 123.00. So the main difference you'll see in this, and a lot of companies, from what I've seen, are still going this route, just because people are so used to the labeling of it. You'll see body armor that's labeled level 2, 2A, 3A, 3, and, things like that, 4 and such. But the new standard with the NIJ is they've kind of broke it down into like a handgun and a rifle portion from being on their website. And I'll put the website in the bio so you can pull that up and look at the actual testing. Don't take my word for this stuff. Do your own research. You should be doing your own research on everything. Listen to some opinions. Do your research. That's what I do. But they've got it set up for handgun and rifle. They've kind of named it a little different. I still am used to the 2A and 2 and 3A and 3, things like that. But anyways, so the first one we'll go over, and I've got a bunch of these, and this is kind of what I utilize at church a lot of times, is your standard vest. You'll see this with law enforcement security. Typically, it'll always, for the most part, unless you're in New York City, for some reason, it'll be under your shirt, and you'll be able to see like the outline, kind of going around and over the shoulders and whatnot. Now, this is a level 2. So this is most of your handguns, not all of them. And we'll get into that in a minute. But this goes around, and some of them are different. You'll have some that have double straps that go from the rear to the front. Some of them on the inside, this one doesn't have it, but it'll have a belly band that pulls the rear tight, and then you can put the front on and strap the front down. I never liked those. All of the ones I used at work, if it had the 2 straps, I took them off and went for the larger single strap. I just liked it a little better. But these are nice. They're pretty concealable. You know, depending on the company you go through, some are going to be a little thicker, some are going to be a little thinner. Material will be a little different, maybe a little more breathable. But most of them have this in common, and a lot of people don't know this, but right here in the front, it'll be a little bit thicker. And this one has the one that it came with, but I did upgrade the one I used at work a lot of times. But there is a little pocket here, and when you pull the pocket out, you'll have one of these. Typically, they're going to be around 6 by 8, something like that. It's called a trauma plate. And what the trauma plate does is it helps add a little extra protection right over your box here, over your sternum and heart and things right in that area. And it's meant to give you a little extra protection, but something a lot of people don't know a lot about is something called back face deformation. So whenever you're wearing any type of armor, soft or hard, yeah, you know, this level 2 is, let me find the highest, the level 2 is rated up to 357 Magnum. Now, that's a large round. So if you get hit with this, yeah, it'll stop the 357 Magnum, but from the round from penetrating and going into you, but what is the rear of the armor going to look like? The rear of the armor is going to push out, kind of like a baseball, and that could break your sternum, cause some internal bleeding, some deep bruising, things like that. So just because the armor says that it'll stop this doesn't mean that you're still not going to get hurt. Yeah, the armor will stop the actual round, but that back face deformation can still cause some issues. And that's one of the main things for the trauma plate here, is to try to help with some of that, especially right here in your sternum area. Try to kill it down a little bit. So that's the vest. So then we have right here, and I like this. I picked it up a while back. It's from a company called 0331 Tactical. See if I can get that in there for you. Made in America. This one here is Point Blank. Huge, big company. A lot of law enforcement and security contract type stuff. But I like this one here. As you can see, it looks like your standard 10 by 12 plates. Nothing on the sides. It's very thin and slimline. I use this one too at church, under a button-up shirt. You could also wear this on the outside and throw your chest rig over the top of it if you wanted to. Now this utilizes, instead of like the vest panels, it utilizes like your standard, this one does, your standard 10 by 12 shooter cut soft plate. Now again, this one is rated a little bit more. This is a level 3A, so it'll stop what the level 2 vest will, with the addition to 357 SIG and 44 Magnum. Now, of course, with those heavy rounds, you will get some back face deformation. This one, this plate here has the Kevlar here in the front, and then there's a little bit of padding in the rear of it to kind of help with that back face deformation. You know, but these are great items to have, especially now with all of the active killers we've seen here lately. You know, and then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, there were 2 more shootings, one at a bar, and then there was one at a church. The one at the church looks like it was gang related, from an individual who left that lifestyle, started attending church, and he ended up getting shot at while attending a church function. You know, but these are great to have. As you can see right here, you may not be able to see, but I keep another vest here. I kind of keep vest and the soft armor. I keep this one over here on the other side. And then I have my heavy kit, which I don't have in here right now. But, you know, you want to be able to have armor for different things. Now, if you only have money for one thing, I would probably just go ahead and go for the hard armor, something that'll help, you know, mitigate rifle rounds to a point, you know, because if it's going to mitigate the rifle rounds, you're going to be good to go with the handguns. You just have to bear in mind a lot of times they're heavier, they're thicker, they're more bulky. Probably not going to be able to conceal that under your clothing like you would some of these items right here. Like I said, on my church public safety team, I wear this stuff and I keep it in the vehicle. But we'll jump over the numbers real quick. And like I said, I'll have the NIJ website in the bio so you can pull this up for yourself. Now, the level 2, which was the vest, that's rated for things like 22 long rifle, 380, 38 special, 9mm, 40 Smith and Wesson, 45 and 357 Magnum, and then you move up to the 3A, which is 357 SIG and 44 Magnum. So your larger handguns. Yeah, people roll around with 357s, excuse me, and 44 mags. Honestly, I didn't run into a lot of those in my prior life working. I mainly dealt a lot of times with everything from the 22, the 380, 38, 9, 40, and the 45. Typically didn't get too much larger than that handgun wise when I was working. But, do your own research, figure out exactly what you want. There are different types. Now, I don't have one of these, but they do make a shirt, like a spandex type shirt that has the pouches on the front and rear. So instead of wearing like an actual carrier type deal, you can take these plates out and actually slide them into that tight kind of spandex muscle undershirt to keep them super tight to your body. I've been wanting to get one of those. I just ain't wanted to spend the money because I have a lot of this stuff as is. But we have to work with what we have. We can't go into debt doing these things. We have to be, financially responsible and use our heads. But we also want to be safe and prepared. So you kind of have to walk that tightrope of a little bit at a time. Don't go beyond your means when it comes to getting these items. And do your research. Don't take my word. I hate to say take the word of the government, but take their word for the most part on the body armor and look at other independent testing. There's a plethora of videos on YouTube where people have picked up all these different types of armor and shot them with what they're rated for and outrageous to kind of see what it will do. It's pretty interesting. You may gain some knowledge from it. But anyways, hope this video helps you all out, but you all stay safe. Have a great day. And Minuteman is out.